Welcome to the extended United Way family watching throughout Southwestern Pennsylvania. I'm Morgan O'Brien, campaign chair for the United Way of Southwestern Pennsylvania. They say hindsight is always 20/20. In other words, it's easy to see what should have been after the situation is over. Looking back on the year we've all been through, it's clear what should have happened when we were hit with the pandemic and the economic devastation it created. Our community needed to be prepared with a century-built network of leadership in the public and private sector. It was. It needed to mobilize human service agencies immediately to respond to critical needs. It happened. It needed a way for tens of thousands of citizens to be connected to human services during the most stressful time they could possibly imagine. It had such a way, a united way. I'm proud to say that this is not a case of what should have, could have, would have, but rather we have. Together, we've stayed united through this incredible year of challenge. And we are here today to celebrate and to recognize the tireless work, generosity, and compassion of everyone watching now and thousands of others throughout our 5-county region.
Thank you, Morgan. You know, this past year has been unrelenting, but it also was a year of learning about ourselves, our community, and the vital role that we play in the lives of others. At times, it seemed like a real blur, and it would be easy to forget the exact details of how all of our support of United Way got so many people through this very challenging year. So to remind us all of this great work and of this great support, Morgan and I are proud to present you with a very special top 20 list from 2020. There were so many ways we came together as a community this past year. This top 20 list illustrates just a few of those ways of how your support of United Way impacted our community. They are not in any particular order of significance because in truth, each one of them likely made the difference of a lifetime for families in our area. So, starting with number 20, Reimagining Volunteerism. During COVID, thousands of United Way volunteers throughout the region were able to maintain social distance while serving the needs of a community suffering through the pandemic. Our volunteers helped families deal with food insecurity, connected seniors who were isolated, and helped deliver school and personal safety supplies to families who were sheltering in place.
Number 19, Student and Family Food Relief. Thanks to a $1 million grant from the PNC Foundation and food expertise from Eaton Park, we were able to serve more than 1 million meals to students and families most affected by school shutdown and lost wages. Make no mistake, this would have been a full-fledged crisis without our network of agencies, food providers, volunteers, as well as county government.
Number 18, helping older adults get vaccinated. During the early weeks and months of the vaccination effort, many seniors who didn't have internet access or strong computer skills struggled to schedule an appointment. It was confusing for many of us. Thanks to PA 211 Southwest and other efforts, more than 6,000 older adults and vulnerable residents got registered and got their vaccines.
Number 17, emergency basic needs. So many families could not financially make it through this crisis. People had to stay home. They didn't know when the next paycheck was coming. The Emergency Basic Needs Funds gave out more than $1 million to families across the region. These one-time grants help people get through what was likely the most difficult and uncertain period of their lives.
Number 16, prioritizing racial equity. The challenges related to meeting basic needs disproportionately affect people of color. United Way has redoubled our efforts to advance racial equity and tear down systemic barriers to opportunities for employment, education, and success in life. We continue to partner with agencies that share that commitment and have provided new investments in emerging and minority women-owned organizations.
Number 15, Steelers summer support. As usual, the Pittsburgh Steelers made the highlight reel. In addition to their annual stellar workplace campaign, the Steelers organization, ownership, and players went above and beyond this year, contributing more than $500,000 to help feed and support the needs of area kids this summer. We can always count on the black and gold. Go Steelers.
Number 14, Women's Leadership Council and Bridges Societies stay connected. Even with no in-person events or meetings, our leadership groups persevered. Both the WLC and Bridges continued their initiatives and networking virtually throughout this past year, staying connected with United Way and with each other.
Number 13, winning workplace campaigns. With so many offices shut down and people working virtually from home, employers had to be incredibly creative this year. Still, the majority of our corporate partners ran successful workplace campaigns when our community needed it most. And 5 companies deserve a very special shout out as $1 million plus donors. Thanks to you, UPMC, PNC, Highmark, PPG, and FedEx.
Number 12, 211 answers the call. This year, PA 211 Southwest was the 24/7 lifeline for our community like never before, not only helping connect people to basic needs, but also taking on the role of fielding emergency calls for the Allegheny County Health Department. All in all, 211 contact volume doubled this past year.
Number 11, supporting our seniors. Our older neighbors were particularly affected by this pandemic, isolated, cut off from loved ones, and vulnerable to the virus. Through our agencies, United Way helped train older adults to become more comfortable with digital technology. As we were able to mobilize volunteers through agencies to make thousands of outreach calls to seniors to help them feel less isolated and alone.
Number 10, real impact on virtual learning. When schools closed and in-person learning stopped abruptly, United Way led a network of 27 school communities throughout the Westmoreland region to respond to the needs of families and students. We helped collect and distribute more than 1,500 learning kits to Head Start and early intervention programs, as well as educators who were teaching remotely.
Number 9, 2020 Crisis Campaign. Thanks to corporate and individual donors, United Way launched the Crisis Campaign in the early days of the pandemic. This campaign helped us address the enormous spike in critical human needs throughout the region, including food and shelter insecurity, keeping utilities on, and the impact lost jobs and wages had on families. This additional, unique funding source gave United Way the financial flexibility to respond quickly and shift resources to where they were needed most.
Number 8, spotlighting and solving problems. I often say that it's impossible to solve a problem you can't see. In order to raise visibility and transparency, we began publishing the Community Pulse reports. This is a collaboration between Allies for Children and the Poise Foundation. This Community Pulse report pulls together valuable data and statistical trends that add context to our community's challenges and help inform our response. We've also started United Way's Question Before Us forum, featuring subject matter experts. This program helps keep our community informed and engaged in the relevant issues and challenges we face.
Number 7, championing equity across the region. As one example of United Way's commitment to creating more equitable opportunities for everyone, regardless of race, gender, or ability, we turned to Butler County, where we co-hosted events starting in January to sow the seeds of diversity and learn about the racial wealth poverty gap. There's so much more work to be done to reverse the systematic challenges facing people of color in our region.
Number 6, the Regional Transportation Network. With generous foundation support, we were able to launch the Regional Transportation Network. This was an example of United Way's ability to be innovative and nimble. We were able to help agencies pivot quickly from transporting people who are now quarantined at home to transporting food and critical safety supplies to where they were needed the most.
Number 5, campaign cabinet leadership. United Way's campaign cabinet is comprised of 25 executive level leaders from our local corporate partners. They've committed over 200 volunteer hours this past year to help guide our efforts and ensure the success of this campaign. Because of their strong leadership, especially through this challenging year, United Way is well positioned to make an even greater impact on the lives of our most vulnerable neighbors going forward.
Number 4, STEMtacular success. United Way's Be STEMtacular Summit provided middle and high school students with hands-on virtual experience to create excitement and passion for STEM skills and careers. Thanks to a $1 million grant from the Arconic Foundation, we've been able to expand the successful program even during remote learning and bring STEM education to schools and students in need.
Number 3, Tocqueville Society leads the way. How amazing is this group of leaders? In this past year, with so many being asked of them, 50% of our Tocqueville members increased their annual contribution to United Way, with 3/4 of that funding going directly to support crisis relief. That represented $1.1 million new dollars when our community needed it more than ever.
Number 2, advocates for people with disabilities. United Way continues to advocate on behalf of people who are differently abled. This year, the fight was not just for access to fair employment and housing, but also to be included in phase 1 of COVID vaccinations. Thanks in part to our advocacy, more than 26,000 people with disabilities and their caregivers received the vaccine sooner. And I guess this is where the drum roll comes in for you, Morgan.
And the number 1, right, campaign totals. And the number 1 highlight of the United Way campaigns, and I'll have Bobbi doing her virtual drum roll, our 2020 campaign revenue, $33,549,635, with an additional $9,784,278 of crisis campaign, making a grand total of $43,333,913, an unprecedented number that reflects the generosity and power of our community to rise to an unprecedented challenge.
Well, there you have it. And that is just fantastic. 20 accomplishments, and I think in less than 20 minutes. We are so grateful to everyone out there who supported our community through United Way with your time, with your leadership, and with your contributions. Our annual campaign is the means to accomplish the mission. And we're so happy that you joined us today to take a few moments to reflect, to remember, and to celebrate what we've been able to do together. You are the reason why this campaign success was possible this past year. But remember, the year mercifully is over, but the need for your support is not. The pandemic, the economic disruption, the continued cry for racial justice and equity, the events of 2020 have sharpened our vision going forward. We are at United Way completely focused on how to better serve our community and make lasting change for our most vulnerable neighbors. Thank you to Morgan for chairing this year's campaign in really unprecedented circumstances. And thank all of you for what you have done. We have so much more to accomplish together going forward. And so on behalf of our campaign chair, Morgan O'Brien, and everyone at the United Way of Southwestern Pennsylvania, I wish you all a very happy and healthy summer. We look forward to our continued work together. This concludes our Vision 2020 program, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for joining us.